Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're starting a little bit earlier here. As you can see, my apologies for that, but the guys really wanted to get things going here. I don't blame them. This is going to be a really exciting series. Start here on Polar Night. Between this man right here, from Team TRLDM, Trolldom, also known as Team Liquid. In the red trunks playing Zerg for Norway, it is Liquid Snute. Versus his opponent to the north position. In the blue trunks, playing Terran. A monster from Russia. It's Empire Happy.
You know, I gotta be honest, I think that the overwhelming advantage is going directly to Snute in this one. Snute looked exceptional versus Hero Marine on this map, and we saw Happy look a little bit shaky to Bly on this map.
Yeah, I think so. This seems to be a map that Snute is very comfortable in. Happy has looked monstrous, don't get me wrong. You know, he's incredibly scary. But this is a good map for Snute, and Snute's showing good form, which is nice, because he has shown so much self-doubt over the last couple of months, putting out public statements saying if he doesn't get better, he will retire. That kind of extremism. This is especially the case after his rather crushing loss at Red Bull Battlegrounds New York, where that really took the wind out of his sails.
Yeah, but, at the same time, I think that this is like a habitual pattern that we see among many, many, many top players. To actually be that good, you have to have a self-critical, actually I'd call it a very specific self-critical voice. You can't simply say, I suck. You have to say, wow, that opening I did sucked. Yeah. It had a weakness in A, B, and C. And to be able to pinpoint those very weaknesses is how you can highlight what to improve and how Snute is able to get so good. But sometimes it's very hard to reel in that self-critical voice, and you wind up at a point where you only find flaws in your play. And Snute needs to give himself more credit. He is just a divine Zerg to watch play. He's so consistent. He does things that look unusual, but when you watch him play, you just sense the strength and the repetition behind them. There's no sloppy missing of injects and randomness to the play. It's just precision.
I absolutely agree. And while we're going through the first couple of minutes of this match, I can announce the other two winners of copies of BioShock Infinite. We decided to do a little contest spontaneously early on in the show, where we asked you to redefine what TRLDM actually meant. We know it means, of course, Trolldom, but we asked for some backronyms, I think is the term that is used on TV tropes. Don't go there. It will suck away hours of your life. Regardless, I have two more winners. The first winner, The Real Lesson, Do Marines. That's from Second Sin. I like that one. That's pretty good. So he wins a copy. And then the last one, which I think is absolutely the best here. It was a little poem. He calls it TRLDM, a short poem. 3 roaches lowered, a doomed marine.
Oh.
That's good. He put some effort into that.
I like that. I like people who care about the quality of their words.
Indeed. So there you go. 5 winners for copies of BioShock Infinite. Solid Nua, Evaya, Commander, Second Sin, and Kogazaz, please. That... I don't. I'm not. It's... when Twitch didn't used to take like 2 hours to send this list through, I used to read off my new subscribers at the end of a show. And I was pretty convinced that the subscribers were making deliberately difficult to pronounce nonsensical names just to screw with me.
Snarch Belch. Spinstinster Bilgnarge.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, that was the name of my mother. It's like, what? It's Norwegian for beautiful flower.
Stricken. Oh yeah, man, I love the... I was watching poems spoken in Xhosa, or however you pronounce that language. It was like absolutely amazing.
That's not the click talk, is it?
It is, yeah.
It is?
Where you have like the...
Yeah.
You have those like 3 different click noises.
Alright, well, we have a game on our hands right now, because Cloak Banshee is on the way, Hellions out on the way here for Happy as well. A bare minimum defense of Queens alone for Snute. Let's see if he can execute that a little better than Demarga earlier.
I mean, this is looking pretty by the book at this point in time, for these two players at the very least. I mean, The only thing you could perhaps be like, that's interesting from Snute is the fact that he has just 2 geysers instead of 3. That implies a Baneling nest and a 4th hatch before layer to me. But we see, out of Happy, a very aggressive opening. He went for the Cloak Banshee, double Hellion, immediately.
That he did, and he's pressuring this front here. He's actually going to go all the way in. Of course, he's going to lose all his Hellions, but how much damage can he actually do in the process? He gets a few drones. Can he get a few more? He looks to try and make that happen. Snute conveniently lines them up, but moves them around. 5 workers killed in total for 4 Hellions, and kind of losing, I suppose, a decent amount of your map control. What do you think to that trade?
I am not a fan of it at all. This is going to immediately make Snute feel delighted to throw down these Spore Crawlers, because he only needs a limited ground army to deal with the Hellions.
Yep.
I mean, the Queens would almost suffice, and now the Banshees will have absolutely no ability to do anything at all, because look at this! Perfect timing in the main base! Oh my god, Happy's gonna lose his Banshee! What is he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing?
He gets out of there, but that was sloppy from Happy. Very, very surprising to see that, because Happy has been really strong throughout this, but this is not going well for him. He's making some questionable decisions.
Yeah, so now, I mean, Snute can accelerate the time that he was going to get his lair. Ordinarily, you'd want to be building some more Zerglings to deal with the Hellions, and you'd throw out the, the sort of compensatory 4th hatch as a result, but, I mean, this was a mess. The reason that Hellion Banshee works very well is it's a difficult to deal with combination, not necessarily that they can split apart. They can, but that's not their strength. It's the combo of the time. And here we see Happy trying to make some magic work with these Banshees, but we're seeing exactly the problem right now. They don't have anything to cover them. They don't function well alone.
No.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah, nothing really happens. He's killed the Queen. He's going to get some tumors here, but that's not really hugely important. He's not going to get all the tumors either, because the Queens are pushing him back. He does get the outlying ones near the Xel'Naga Tower, which is good. But there are 4 Queens following that are instantly going to replace them, so it doesn't matter. There are still 6 Queens out for Snute, so he doesn't really care about all of that. And what did Cloak get him in the long run? Not a damn thing.
Yeah, right now Snute preparing... Oh, a tiny counterattack, but the patience of that Nordic man.
This is going to be
waiting
delicious.
For the 1-1 to be done.
And there's nothing in there at all. He crashes in, and he's going to try and do as much damage as he can to this mineral line. And there's so many Banelings, it's going to overrun it completely. Couple more Banelings come out. A great detonation once again. The Banshees are eventually able to hold that back. But Snute killed 16 workers in the process. That was fantastic.
I mean, Snute is just trucking Happy in this match. The Banshees floating directly into the middle of nowhere, getting shot down by a Spore Crawler. We get Queen count all the way up to 9. We have the harass. I mean, everything has gone wrong for Happy, and it's going to continue to go wrong. Even this attack that feels so clever to be arriving before the Spire's done is just going to get stomped on by this Queen count.
You'd think so, yeah. There's enough Queens with Transfuse Micro that this will not work. It will force a cancel on the 4th base, maybe. Yeah, there we go. I think Snute was kind of at a bit of an indecisive point, saying, can I save this? Or do I let's just cancel and then maybe try and get a Baneling hit before the pickup happens? Happy on point with that, only loses a few Marines here and there.
Macro Hatch is missing, now gets thrown down by Snute. Probably could have gotten thrown down at 11 minutes, but getting distracted by Happy's continued aggression. But Snute has so many Queens, even 2 hanging out in the main base that can join into this fray. And here come the mines that have since 4 been relatively not good.
And they continue to be. Snute baits the mines directly in there to hit a couple of those Hellions. Nice little move there. However, an Overseer does pop out directly below some Marines. Can be a little bit risky. Once again, the mines don't really do what they want to do. Good target fire on these Banshees on the Banelings, though.
Drop in the main base, but Snute does have some Queens there to help assist with it, but some damage is occurring.
That is true. It's a really savvy move, by the way, for Snute not to put his lair in the main. It seems like he realizes, oh yeah, the back of the main's really exposed to drops. It's very easy to get around there.
So now we have a Zerg player out-upgrading a Terran player. We have the creep spread visibly in range of Happy's 3rd base and continuing to extend forward. I mean, this is what makes Snute such a good player.
Happy is continuing to pressure as best he can. Queen attempting to... Oh, great target fire on the Queen, absolutely. And a transfuse just before it dies. However, that's a decent number of Marines, so some damage will certainly be done to this mineral line. Admittedly, it's almost mined out anyway, so not that important. An attempted push by Happy, doing the little old 1-2 where he'll go in, just distract the army, and then push back some creep tumors here and there. But there's still a lot of Lings following that up, and there's really no mine back up here, and a sudden flood of Lings comes in, and... yeah, the Terran decides, you know what, this was a terrible idea, and the mines don't hit the Banelings. Happy's mine luck continues to be awful, and the Banelings crash into the mineral line.
I mean, the expansion is getting hit by Queens
What?
that have creep to be able to retreat. The Queen Overseer combo is probably going to be able to take out the mines. I mean, what is going on? Snute channeling the power of Demaga.
Yeah, the real power of Demaga. I think we know why Demaga lost. He got his power stolen by Snute, clearly. But the Queens are now getting massacred, which is a little bit unfortunate. They overstayed their welcome somewhat, and he's actually now down to 2 Queens and 4 bases. So maybe Snute overcommitted a smidge to that.
At the same time, though, Happy has to wait for the creep to recede before he is allowed to land that expansion. So
that is quite comical.
The damage is just like almost comical. More drops coming in from Happy.
He's going to set up and try to go around. There's a good Overlord in place just to spot this coming in. Boost is actually going to run out before he hits that, so that's a bit of a problem. A push forward again onto the creep to push back some of those tumors, and it's a lot of tumors he needs to kill because back then he was putting down 11 at a time. Now not so much. His Queen count is very, very weak. The drop comes in. The Queen is trying to focus down the medevac. He will be able to do just that, and the cleanup should come in here. There's a few more Lings, so that should certainly do the job. Although the Lings are coming in bits and bobs, which is not really going to help too much, but he gets the cleanup. Again, it's at the back of the main that's almost mined out. What's it going to do? You know, it'll kill a Queen, maybe. That's about it.
So now Happy, I mean, I think the supply counts are oddly close.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, by virtually any measure, Snute is way ahead.
I certainly
Especially
think
given
so.
creep spread and you know his upgrades are already in fine condition. There's a drop from Happy that got picked off. I mean, Snute still needs to play carefully because, as we've seen, a single good battle for Happy can turn it around. But I mean, these mine placements from Happy are not working very well.
No, that one was a little better, but even then, Happy just is legendary in his bad luck right now with his mines. He never gets the connections he needs. Great splitting, though, from Happy. 3-3 about to be finished by the Terran here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the window for Happy, with this 3-3 being done. And Happy does have somewhat of a desperate timing, because even though Happy's back to 3 bases, he's been mining heavily off his first 2, so they're unusually dry at this phase.
The mines go off yet again and do little more than kill some Marines. The Mutalisk count comes in after that. I mean, honestly, Snute's been extremely diligent with engaging those mines. Great Baneling connection on the ramp up to the natural there. The Mutalisk count is at 23. It just swarms over the 3rd base and destroys the economy here. More Banelings coming. He doesn't even care about efficiency at this point. 90 supply for Happy. 70 supply for Happy. Oh, dear.
I mean, Snute just made this look so straightforward. GG. Shut down the harass, even the drops that got in, did some damage and got cleaned up. Everything seemed very in control for Snute's gameplay.
I'd say so. Snute played a phenomenal game there. Should be very proud of that. Happy was an extremely strong player for the Russian team. We may see him again, bear that in mind. We're in a best of 7, which means the ace match can be anybody. Now, I would love to hear what the guys over at Meltdown on the French cast have to say, so we're gonna head on over to them.
Call avec Tibi et la Plott sur Skype avant de reprendre la prochaine game. Et ouais, comme tu l'as dit là, Snute est chaud et je vois plus du trop dans la team russe qui pourrait le refroidir. Parce que là on a sLivko et Titan. Alors Titan a all kill une team, je crois, la première team qu'ils ont rencontrée.
C'était la toute première.
C'était l'Espagne, je crois. Je crois qu'ils ont.
C'était probablement l'Espagne, ouais.
Ils ont.
L'Espagne ou la Suède.
Ils ont envoyé Cloquette sur notre ami Vortex. Surtout Titan, ouais.
Ouais, c'est l'Espagne.
Mais est-ce que ça fera le café contre Snute et sLivko? Que donne sLivko en ZVZ? Là, Snute qui pourrait très bien se faire un all kill à un moment donné.
Pas sûr que sLivko soit très très fort en Zerg versus Zerg. Il avait montré de belles choses en Zerg versus Protoss, de belles macro games.
On est, ouais, non, sLivko, très très bon client. On verra si c'est lui qui va être aligné juste après. Sean and TotalBiscuit, how are you doing?
Ah, salut!
Oh.
Je m'appelle TotalBiscuit. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was so awesome. Yes, I do
Bonjour,
Jour Neuf
Total.
as well.
TotalBiscuit et Jour 9, welcome back again on this journalistic Skype call.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed the matches today. Did you have fun?
Oh
Yeah.
man, I will say, every single match has been just spectacularly weird. I mean, well, I mean, maybe weird's the wrong one, but definitely incredibly different. We've like the full crazy range of like cheese matches, metagame, weird close base trades. It's just been an absolute blast. And I mean, starting off Snute versus Happy, super pleased about, but I'm eager for Snute versus Titan if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, Titan seems to be the other strong guy of the Russian team. But we were wondering with Tude, does Titan have a chance against Snute? We've seen so much skill in the Norwegian player in ZVT. Can Titan take a map? What do you think?
I would imagine that if there's one player on the Russian team who can take down Snute, it's probably actually going to be sLivko. I don't think that Titan can go toe-to-toe with Snute, because Titan likes to do cute things that you'd still call standard. He doesn't do crazy things that would really catch you off guard, or at least would catch Snute off guard. I think that, though, that sLivko has great Zerg versus Zerg, and Snute has shown that to be his weak spot in this tournament.
So you'd call sLivko for a re-emplacement?
Yeah, I do think Titan is the strongest player on Team Russia, though.
And TotalBiscuit, what did you think of the previous match, Germany versus Ukraine, with a final win for Ukraine, which clearly was not the favorite country in the tournament?
That was about the craziest Game 5 we could have possibly asked for. We actually looked at the statistics before that match came in, and CAS, over the course of the last 4 years, has a 67% win ratio against soccer, and they've played over 40 maps against each other in Wings of Liberty alone, so it was a bit crazy going into it, but we did expect CAS to have the edge. We didn't quite expect it to go that way, though. The stutter-stepped landed Vikings was not something you get to see every day.
Yeah, it was a really, really good use of his unit by CAS, which brought him the win. Well, gentlemen, do you have something to say to the Meltdown? They are here, they are hot, and they are prepared.
Ladies and gentlemen at Meltdown, next round of drinks is on me.
Ok, donc pour le stream, Day9 qui offre les prochaines consos, tout simplement.
Nice.
Pointez-vous vite.
All right. And TotalBiscuit, do you want to say something? Do you want to? I know you've been working with the US scene, the players with the Shoutcraft. You've seen new talents on Starcraft 2 in the USA and North American countries. Do you think NA has what it takes to set a team for the next Nation Wars?
I think they could pull it off, but I've been out of the EU scene for a long time. I used to cast huge amounts of EU tournaments. I've been focusing mostly on North America, and really I've missed casting the Europeans, and I think this series and this entire tournament has shown just how strong the European scene really is. And if NA wants to send a team to the next Nation War, they better bloody well prepare properly. Because if these guys are anything to go by, then NA is going to struggle an awful lot. And just because I don't like to make promises I can't keep, I'm very, very sorry for my French, and I will never try it again. Never try it again.
No, please do, and we hope we'll have occasions to do so. The game has just started. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy this game.
Have
It's
a
going to be
good
great.
night. Yeah, it's gonna pump. Faites du bruit quand même pour nos co-casters américains et anglais, bien sûr. L'anglophonie présente sur Gaming.
There you go, folks. Your little French lesson, as always, on this particular stream. Certainly the way to go there. The French are always very excited when it comes to their StarCraft 2. I've got to give them that.
You know, I got to give credit to Ponfitude for breeding the most awesome party, have a good time environment. Those
really
guys
do.
kick ass, yeah.
They really do. It's so cool. I'm hoping to get to go to a French event again because they're very entertaining. I think a lot of people look at Europe and say, yeah, DreamHack, you know, best party environment. You've never been to an Iron Squid or an O Gaming event if you really believe that. Trust me, it is insanity.
It is so, I mean, it's like WWF, but without rigged matches.
That's exactly true. And with 100% more orchestra.
Ooh.
It's simultaneously a classier affair than WWE. And yet also a more raucous affair than WWE.
Yeah.
Only the French could pull off that kind of quandary. That's ridiculous contrast.
So good.
Well, your prediction was accurate. To the southeast position, playing for Team Russia. In the blue trunks, playing Zerg, VP BenQ sLivko. VP, for those who don't know, is not in fact a very important person or vice president. It is Virtus Pro. Versus his opponent to the southwest position, the real lesson, Do Marines. In the red trunks, playing Zerg, is Liquid Snute.
You know, I love watching sLivko Zerg vs. Zerg. I think it's exceptional. He does a lot of very odd, super fast Hydra plays in the days when it was all Roach. Snute has shown a particular weakness for engagements in this matchup. His builds are great, his timing, his basics, but often, as we saw in his match versus TLO, he'll do one flubbed pickup and then just fall far behind in the Roach count and then won't be able to pull back ahead.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's strange to even talk about Snute being weak in Zerg vs. Zerg, considering his most notable results are off the back of his Zerg vs. Zerg.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely his strong, or like he's definitely unbelievable at it. But you know, that issue of walking roaches in and choosing bad engagements are one of the things that he himself has complained about. Why do I keep doing this? This is what's causing me these dumb losses. Happened just today versus TLO. I mean, definitely has his strong team to back him up, and I think that if Snute wins this, that he might just 4-0.
He could.
Team Russia, yeah.
sLivko does have a really good shot at it. I've got to say, I'm not massively keen on Snute's ZVP, so it's entirely possible that Titan could take him out, but you're in a pretty tough spot there. This is a best of 7, so you do get to bring your ace back, so even if sLivko does lose here, then it's not all lost. It's okay, you know, it doesn't fall on Titan's shoulders to win every single map. But it's still a ridiculous amount of momentum for a player with the talent of Snute. You don't ever want to give that to him.
And increasingly, we've been seeing that Snute is not alone in the strength of his team. TargA played great against Sokka. Eiki just played amazingly in all the games of his I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a magnificent sight to see that defense against TLO. So I'm definitely going to give a little bit of credit to Team Norway. They have shown that they did not get lucky getting here.
No, they fought harder than anyone else to do it. They have had to, of course, play an extra series, and they played some close series as well. Huge amounts of close series. Some really clutch plays. Eiki coming out on day 1 and surprising everyone when people were claiming, well, Norway is second only to Spain in terms of its weakness. It's only packing 1-star player, just like Spain. We don't know who Eiki is. TargA's really inconsistent. And then everyone comes through for Norway, and Eiki really shows it off. Snute finds his rhythm again and plays like the Snute of old. And then TargA is able to take matchups with his unpredictable aggressiveness. It's a well-rounded team, more so than people gave it credit for, I think.
And now we're starting to see Snute and sLivko really going toe-to-toe with how thin you can stretch the defenses. 3 queens and 4 queens, but with the amount of spotting they're doing and with the amount of timing knowledge they have, both are going for a very swift third.
Yes, they are. Rightfully so, I think. Interesting. We might see this going past roaches, which would be unique, especially considering this tournament. That's the one thing. The ZBZs have been crazy, but they've been crazy with roaches almost all the time. We've not really seen anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really many other options, to be frank. I mean, technically, you could talk about Mutalisks, but Spore Crawlers deal 1,000 damage a shot to Mutalisks.
Pretty much. They are the Zerg Ion Cannon, really. They're oh, hello, Snute. Snute is building 2 Roach Warrens. We are looking for that TLO timing here.
I mean, this looks very much so like an error.
They are a bit
I'd be surprised.
off, aren't they? Yeah.
He doesn't have enough gas to do both roaches and the double ups. I think that he's just getting a little bit distracted.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to use both. You're probably right, though. I mean, I can't see him actually doing those upgrades, and they're really weirdly timed as well. So I'm not 100% sure.
There it is. He's finished both of them.
And is doing absolutely nothing with them. So, oh well, never mind. Not the worst mistake one could ever make, but in a mirror, you don't really want to be making any.
Yeah, sLivko's playing excellently, though. He already has his +1 coming. He's ahead in the drone count by 11. The other big factor is the gas geysers. We've seen Snute a little bit behind on accumulating the gas. So in terms of the total gas collected, we can see sLivko with a lot in the bank.
That's absolutely fantastic for him, and it's surprising that his drone count's gone up so high and he's still being able to sort of maintain enough defense to stop Snute from really doing anything. Snute's been trying to do these Ling run bys. They've been utterly ineffective. sLivko has been able to hold that third without any problems at all. Now Snute adding on... Oh, wow. He actually went up to... Was that 3 Evo chambers he was going up to there? That was... I'm not sure. Does he even have an Evo chamber?
You know, triple Evo, double Roach Warren, I call it consistency play. You know, it's what you do when you want to make sure you can never not upgrade what you need. But right now, sLivko is just gradually pulling ahead. I mean, more Roaches are on field for Snute right now. More Roaches, including those in production, but we have upgrade lead, speed lead, gas lead, all just for sLivko.
Absolutely true. And that evolution chamber and, of course, the roach mistake is uncharacteristic of Snute. As you said, a little bit distracted, which is not where you want to be in a mirror matchup. One big engagement can certainly decide it. We want to see Roach Wars out of both, but it's going to be an upgrade lead for sLivko. It's going to be a Roach lead for sLivko. It's a mining lead for sLivko. But Snute may be able to get a good engagement arc.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. 61 to 50 was the, I believe, it was something-ish. It was like basically 60 to 50 when we saw Snute go to battle against TLO, but TLO had the better concave.
Yeah.
And that allowed Snute to lose 20 roaches almost immediately, and he fell very far behind, so. Definitely those engagement angles are tremendous. Hydra dens for both players, but it's one of these weird things where Snute can halt his roach production at like 160 and get more Hydras in the composition and have a lead when he's behind on roaches. But it looks like Snute wants to try to push the issue.
I wouldn't. Not against a concave like that. That's a really nice defensive setup. There's even a spine in there. Snute realizes, it's like, no, I'm not going to do anything like that. And in fact, if he'd attacked right then, just as +2 finished before his +1, that would have been super ugly.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. There's the +2 time you're talking about. Just finishing up more spines.
Imagine if he'd engaged. Good lord.
You know, I'm trying to figure out the next best step for Snute. I think sLivko gets exactly where he's at and says, all right, I'm going to maintain concave. I'm going to maintain vision. And I'm just going to take this expansion. But Snute is in a little bit riskier spot. He doesn't have the same power of units. He doesn't have the same number of spines. Already sLivko is getting more infestors and is going to start doing little counterattacks with roaches to lose those in order to replace them with the juicier infestor Hydra.
Going up to Hive here as well as sLivko. I've got to ask before the engagement begins, how did we get to this point? Because to the casual viewer, we'd see pretty much identical builds from both, and yet sLivko ended up ahead. How?
Well, it was a big moment where Snute started to build a lot of roaches, and we saw sLivko get an attack upgrade and 10 extra drones. And, I mean, a drone mines at 40 minerals a minute, so that's 400 minerals a minute, and they haven't really engaged for 6 or 7 minutes, so you can immediately see how thousands of extra resources have happened. How that is a fully finished base with defenses. But again, Snute is going to press the issue, and the infestors are almost there. This could be horrible for Snute.
Oh, he's getting out of there. He's a bit savvy to that. Or is he? Nope. Yes, he is a bit savvy to that. There you go. So he's going to leave. That would definitely not be a good place to be caught with a fungal growth.
Oh, absolutely not. Spire now coming up for sLivko. He's really looking to go for 3-3 on his upgrades, to go for that +3 missile attack. Some Broodlords can be helpful if you kind of gently go for them, but they are not the power unit in this matchup that they are in the others.
Spines going down for both sides. Snute particularly looking to use up some of those drones, get some more units, and get those nice defensive units in order to allow him to deal with any kind of aggression that comes out of sLivko. But sLivko is just happy to sit there, and we've got walls being set up on both sides here. This could go on for a while. Admittedly, that Great Aspire is a great siege breaker for this kind of situation.
Yep. I mean, siege breaker is the right term for it. What makes the Broodlords so weak is that the roaches can just obliterate the Locust almost immediately. And then what? Where are you? Well, the Hydras just waltz directly underneath the Broodlord and just kill them. So
yeah,
we see that Broodlords are only good if they have a huge ground army underneath them. And if you start losing units, you don't replace with more Broodlords. You have to replace with more Roach Hydra.
Snute's going to get amazing information here. He's going to spot the Great Aspire. He sacrificed a number of roaches to do it, but that's fine because he wanted to replace them anyway. So that is good info to have. Knowing that your opponent's on Hive, knowing your opponent's going Great Aspire, knowing it's almost done, then he can start to prepare. Snute's Spire's already on the way, so he can get Corruptors to start to deal with those Broodlords.
sLivko's even done the extractor, or not the extractor tricking, just the supply tricking.
Yes.
To exceed 206 supply.
It's very cool. We've seen that a lot. Oh, hello. Here comes the engagement. Snute has a fantastic concave here, I think. Oh, actually, never mind. sLivko's concave is so large that I can't see it all on the screen. So I guess that is why. But regardless, the engagement comes in again.
Snute, no, has the anti-concave.
Oh.
And we talked about this again and again. I mean, the Snute keeps trying to force the engagement when he just doesn't need to. 6 Broodlords in production and an interesting choice to see 4 Vipers getting made. But look at this smart move from sLivko. He's moving all his spines up.
Nice. Very, very nice. Although, admittedly, those Vipers could prove to be very useful in that situation.
Yeah.
I suppose Viper is an interesting answer to Snute's continued failure to be able to get a good concave. I mean, if you can't get a good concave, then mess up the other guys. Please don't tell me this is going to be Spine versus Spine.
Oh my god, StarCraft 2 Evolution.
That classic game for the Atari 2600, Spine versus Spine.
Well, it looks like Snute is performing a counterattack down at the south side, trying to pick up some drones. This is where Snute's excellent decision-making comes in. He's going to get one of those Broodlords. It's going to fall down almost immediately. Amazing fungal growth, blinding cloud combos, flashing on both sides.
Well, this has suddenly got very interesting all of a sudden. We've got 200 supply here, actually, for sLivko. He loses a Broodlord, but is building a few more. He's sitting comfortably on 4 bases, so is Snute. The Roach run-by comes in. There was a Roach run-by, of course, by Snute that actually did pretty good damage earlier, but I think, honestly, that sLivko is happy to have a large army, that this is all sorts of nonsense going on over here. Abducts go in, they pull in the Broodlords, but he doesn't get the kills. Great transfuses by sLivko. Fantastic. And that is resulting in Snute's defenses taking a lot of damage, but sLivko is taking a lot of damage as well. And this big Hydra count for Snute. The fungals are gone here for sLivko. Snute is breaking through.
Broodlords are just not the power unit in this matchup that they are in the other two, and Snute is exploiting that, building no Broodlords, instead abducting. Fungal abduct, the Broodlord is still trapped after the pull. Snute has lost his southern expansion. sLivko knows that this is a game of resources, it's a game of dollars. Snute has taken a very vulnerable northern base, but I mean, neither player really has that much good stuff going on.
There's 40 Hydralisks on the field for sLivko. He just made a massive surge of them. It's more Hydras than you will usually see in any StarCraft 2 game whatsoever. They both sit on either side of a wall of spines here. There's no man's land in the center that no one wants to be in.
I mean, the problem for sLivko, though, is that Blinding Cloud is fantastic against Hydralisks, because Roaches, if they can get right up next to the Hydras, are amazing. And this is the moment. Oh my god, it's a defensive structure push, and there it is. Blinding Clouds abducts. The range on the Hydras is down to nothing, and now all the Roaches are just obliterating the front line of sLivko's Hydras.
My god, this is fantastic play right here from Snute. The wonderful use of the Viper and the Blinding Cloud, finding the answer to sLivko, and sLivko plummets in supply. Snute obliterates this army. He is taking more damage from these Broodlords at the back, but they're really going to need to retreat at this point.
What an engagement. Spines, spores, abducts, fungal growths, and a massive Roach Hydra concave.
It's insane.
What a match.
This has gone beyond what we usually see in any Zerg versus Zerg here. Snute's about to complete his +3, and that's something that we haven't really talked a huge amount about up to this point. The fact that +3 has been done for sLivko for a while, but he's been a bit behind on the Carapace side of things, which can really make a difference when it comes to a lot of Hydralisks being used.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The compositions are just, they're uncomfortable compositions on both ends because they rely on so many combinations firing off at the same time. sLivko now, just trying to do some guaranteed value. He's doing an attack at the top side with a small number of Roaches, and an attack at the bottom side with a small number of Hydras. But keep in mind, one fungal, one abduct, and see you later Hydras. Yeah. They're just going to get wrecked. And now we see Swarm Host as a choice for sLivko.
Well, he is behind, so 3 units and a Forest of Spines is a good way to start to equalize that and also defend your assets at home. However, Snute is on 1 extra base, extra lava here. He has about equal number of drones, so mining maybe not making so much of a difference here. The Forest of Spines for sLivko is certainly up. He's sitting on 15 of them.
Unreal. This game, it just, it sense not does make. I don't even...
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We could see I wonder if he's actually going to complete these spores, or if Snute's actually going to use these to do the trick to exceed his supply. But it looks like he wants spores involved in this, which I don't necessarily think he needs them, considering.
Well, I mean, suppose he's just trying to make sure that the Broodlords disappear as fast as possible, and there he's going to get another one.
Bits of Broodlord falling down the void there. Absolutely wonderful to watch.
More Roaches down at south side trying to equalize economy. No burrow for Snute, so he is going to wind up losing everything. But Snute doing the same play with a bigger, faster army. He can do double-pronged attacks. sLivko's now pinned to 3.5 bases, and that's why he's going for the slowest, most value army possible.
Swarm Hosts. There's nothing more valuable than a bunch of free units behind Spine Crawlers. That's going to be hard for Snute to engage that directly. However, he's managed to get all the way around the side and bypass it entirely. There is another entrance, of course, to that third. Pushed back there by the Hydras.
sLivko's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because Snute has his power units at the left side. They're very vulnerable. Roaches would be able to easily kill off this Hydra force that Snute has within his Spore Crawlers, but there's no Roaches on sLivko's side. He's going just Broodlord Infester, and I actually think that this is correct for sLivko. He has to just stay ultra efficient with his force. He needs to just get slow, favorable engagements, and I think Snute might have made the better choice building all the Spine Crawlers first, because now Snute's going to get his Broodlords up, and it's going to be Broodlord versus Swarm Host.
That usually only goes one way. It's basically Airlord versus Groundlord, and unfortunately Groundlords can't shoot up, so it works pretty well. And there are no Vipers for sLivko. There's nothing kind of stopping him from getting them when he spots the Broodlords, but if those Broodlords come along and he hasn't seen them, things start to get a little bit difficult for sLivko.
Well, Snute's continuing to do these just brilliant counterattacks. Even with the number of spines sLivko has, he doesn't quite have enough to lock down all these varying angles, and there's the Broodlords coming up for Snute. Those are going to be the perfect anti-Locust units, because it's free units versus free units.
Yeah. which looks about as comical as you would expect. And Snute is deliberately keeping his Broodlords back. He knows, oh, I wonder if he did see them there, actually. Well, no response yet from sLivko. He might not have seen them. They were just a little bit further back in Locust vision range, I think. He'll see them now, of course, and he's immediately building nothing. He's going to need something to respond to that. He can't just sit there.
Well, we're seeing the Locusts now encounter the Broodlings in the most silly battle that is humanly possible.
Yes. 3 units versus 3 units. And really, it seems like sLivko needs Vipers of his own to be able to abduct here. Although he could go for a big Corruptor count, but even then, there's so many Hydras on the ground. This is tough. There we go. There's the Vipers coming out for sLivko.
Yeah, it's a very hard engagement for sLivko, with even Corruptors being mobile. I mean, the fact is, he has a lot of gas and not a lot of minerals, and Corruptors are only going to work well in large numbers, so he wants to leverage what he has. So Vipers, perfect choice for him. But Snute is just continuing to gobble up more and more gas and deny sLivko's gas. I mean, look in the main. sLivko just mined out gas at his main, at his natural. His third is running dry. His fourth is really his only long-term source.
That could be a real problem going forward in this matchup. I've got to say, the gas income for sLivko has plummeted. It is less than half of the income that Snute is able to get. Snute has secured a 6th base up to the top here. This fight is just stupid.
This is the silliest fight humanly possible. Here it is, on the Nation Wars.
Swarm Host well, I would say randomly runs in there, but I think actually sLivko is starting to get rid of his Swarm Host because he realizes, well, your 3 units, they come faster than my 3 units.
Gosh. I actually think the Locusts are breaking through in a sense, but the Broodlord count is just eclipsed 13.
Yes.
And another counterattack from Snute at the south.
Here come the Abducts into nothing. Oh, there's the Fungal. There we go. Unfortunately, Locusts cannot shoot up. There's a nice pop. So he takes out 2. And we have a reverse situation here.
Suddenly, the counterattacks are terrifying for Snute. 3-3 upgrades. It's 16 to 17. It's dead even. But Snute is now saying, I don't want Hydras because those are no longer a valuable unit. I want something that's even more cost effective. I want more Infestors. I want more Broodlords. We see 7 Corruptors coming out for Snute.
Well, this is it's getting weird. Let's just put it that way. Looks like this Broodlord is going to be able to get back. An Abduct there coming in from sLivko, but now Snute is starting to build up his Corruptor count to intercept those Vipers, which is certainly needed. Another Abduct comes out, and the Spores are there, so that's going to kill the Broodlord off absolutely immediately. And, well, this is just silly, Sean.
You know, I think the person that comes out ahead is the server. Feeling very proud to have executed so many commands simultaneously. There's no desync in the action. We are all getting to witness this.
Thank God for that. I would have been so sad if I'd had missed this. It's a truly momentous occasion for me.
So what Snute is actually looking to do is to abduct the enemy abductors.
Yes. Which, it seems like that's exactly what sLivko is trying to do as... Whoa! Careful, careful, careful. This is...
You know...
Wow,
this is... You know...
I don't know, unfortunately. I don't really have an answer to what's going on at this point.
I mean, this is the opening sequence to Saving Private Ryan. If Steven Spielberg had way too much budget and no ability to direct.
Interesting choice to use the Fungal there on those 3 units.
I mean, why not? I mean, the energy's free too. Let's not beat around the bush here.
sLivko,
oh my god.
What happened?
The top side is now under threat. I mean,
it is.
Snute's going to bring some of his Broodlords to the top side, but he's definitely going to take some serious losses. Snute might want to invest in some Spine Crawlers up on the north side, because...
Yeah. He's actually going to lose that base, which is, you know, it's a nice move for sLivko, as you said. And funnily enough, this has allowed the Locusts to push further forward, because there aren't quite enough Broodlords now to stop that many Locusts. Might have to use some Fungal here.
Fungal growth might go down as a correct play on these Locusts. And there it is. In the army value tab, we see that Snute has way the denser army, with 17 Broodlords and 16 Corruptors. But, actually, wait a minute. With all those Hydras down, what's sLivko going to be making? Oh, he's going to make his own Corruptors and Infestors and Swarmers. This is so interesting.
That's certainly one way to put it. Hydras get surrounded by drones in a weird spot, but they do manage to pick up yet another expansion. Really nice boost by sLivko, considering those were the mining bases there for Snute.
So, I learned a new recipe yesterday.
What's that?
It's a mushroom with Gruyere cheese on top. Oh, we got a Viper. Oh my god.
Oh, the fungal is huge. Snute gets a bunch of stuff stuck in the middle of the map. Will there be a follow-up fungal from sLivko? He tried. He gets his Infestor abducted. More fungals come in. This might be the turning point in this ridiculous encounter. More fungals coming in. Corruptors are really slow to die in all scenarios, including this one. The Broodlords push forward to try and make this happen.
Oh my god, a big fungal on the Broodlords. More Vipers doinking in Broodlords left and right. But this doesn't mean anything. And the recipe that I have is mushrooms with Gruyere cheese on the top, little basil in there, and you bake it. It's so good.
I'm currently running my Starcraft 2 in full screen windowed mode, and it's desperately trying to alt-tab out on its own to escape this game.
Oh, that's interesting.
Not really ever seen that happen before. But
I mean,
the
this
game
battle
is definitely sub 30 FPS at this point, I think. It is slowing down.
I mean, Michael Bay is impressed with the duration of this battle.
But the Broodlords are slowly starting to push their way through. The Corruptor count for sLivko is basically gone. He has no abduct. Well, actually, never mind. He has 5 Vipers. He has lots of abducts.
There's plenty of abduct. Snute has begun to add on queens. No one's attacking any expansions. They're just attacking the units. Snute's actually burrowing his spore crawlers at the front.
Nice little move to try and keep the Vipers away.
Oh my god, he got a retreat out of
He's
the
pushed him back. World War I might finally conclude here.
That's amazing.
The Zerg equivalent of trench warfare. Jeez, this is quite silly. And Snute has eventually managed to push it through, and he's re-established his bases. But here's the thing, so sLivko.
Wow.
I don't really... I have no idea what's happening. I'm gonna be honest. This is not what you usually see. The Broodlords are certainly pushing back that front line, and Snute is clearly managing to get the upper hand in that respect, but
yeah,
there's a re-rally, though. Like, sLivko has set up a new defensive line.
And in terms of, you know, like, how do you analyze this situation? What does any of this mean? Let's go through it. So right now, the Swarm Host is the most efficient unit around for what it can do. Yeah. It can send the Locusts out, which have an incredible range. You don't even need to have a target. The Broodlords do need a target to spawn the Broodlings, and the Broodlings only last for a very short period of time. Locusts last for a full 25 seconds. So this means that technically, sLivko can, on average, do more damage with his army. But the problem is, every single unit can attack the Swarm Hosts, except Corruptors. So Snute favors a big Broodlord force, and his goal is to eliminate everything but the Swarm Hosts. So suddenly, sLivko only has Swarm Hosts versus Broodlord. Small roach counterattack from Snute, looking good. Let's click on some of these Swarm Hosts. 68 kills, 112 kills, 68, 91, 84, 83, 87, 96, 115.
Aggression coming out of Snute. He's going to take a base out here. He's going to take a second one as well, actually. Really nice maneuver. His opponent's force being highly immobile gave him the opportunity to send roach run-bys in to try and do damage, and he did it. You know, he took out... That's every mining base for sLivko, bar the one at the south position, which is actually very easy to attack right now, if Snute realizes that. He's actually swinging around. He might try for it.
Well, looks like Snute's going to answer in this tense situation by building more Corruptors and trying to take out the south base. Unit count is currently 30 drones to 58 drones. I mean, Snute is just taking these little edges and extending them again and again and again, and to think that this all could have possibly been over with a single flood engagement by Snute, he's pulled it back around with just a insane late-game army mixture.
Well, sLivko just lost his last mining base and also absolutely messed up that fungal and lost a bunch of infestors in the process. sLivko basically has no cash left, and he does, however, have 12 swarm hosts, but I don't think that's actually a big enough mass to stop what's coming at him. There are still 9 broodlords here from Snute. If he gathers his army and pushes, he might be able to break him here.
So at this point in time, it looks like Greater Spire that's really, really dark in color. Gonna pop 94 to 118 in the mix. 12 swarm hosts still stay alive. The heroes of sLivko's vitality. And, you know, maybe sLivko should just relocate everything to the north and just start the game over with 4 more bases. No, he says GG!
Oh, praise the gods in heaven.
We
GG!
did it! We made it! We got to the other end, TV!
That was...
Oh, yeah.
God, I hope we never see the like again. As interesting as that was, and unique as it was, watching Broodlords fight Swarm Hosts for 20 minutes was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in StarCraft.
Yeah, I mean, that game is like an okay girlfriend. I was fine with it at the time, but I never want to see it again.
Oh, God, why?
Alright, so it's on to game 3. It means that now Norway is up 2-0 in a best of 7. We're guaranteed Snute versus Titan. And one more player may be sent out from Team Russia.
And
one of the
then-
eliminated players gets a second life.
Indeed. And then we may see Snute versus sLivko again on an even bigger map. It is possible. Please no.
Oh man, that was really cool.
Well, I mean, it's something that I think you can look back on and say, well, I got to cast that game.
That was awesome.
It was unorthodox.
So are we going to take a break, or are we just powering into the next game, man?
You know, I actually have, I have to leave in an hour and a half, so I really hope they just power into the next game.
Yeah.
I have a prior dinner engagement with a large piece of cow. It will be delicious. And if I end up eating those microwave fries and some cheese again...
Oh, that's going to sound really good.
It sounds good in theory. Until you realize that the steak is just so much better. Please. Oh, it's Altazim. Okay, they're using Altazim for Titan versus Snute. Alright.
Good.
Good, yes. That means we won't get to see it if sLivko comes back. That's nice.
Well, I mean, Altazim, huge map. Could still be a long slugfest in this matchup, but this is a map where I'm confident in saying extremely long distances, so I recommend Mutas.
A couple of comments coming in from the players, by the way. Empire Cass on Twitter. Hope David Kim enjoying this battle of Locust versus Broodlings. Looks so fun, smiley face. Ace Inertio, of course, of Poland, that were eliminated on day 1. This is what happens when Snute and sLivko play a ZBZ or any other matchup. I can't watch this.
Oh, interesting. Let me go to my Twitter and see what I'm seeing here. Can you stream us some cat videos or something instead?
Okay, I will do my very best. I think we might need a bit of a palate cleanser. So let's see what we can do. Yes. This will work fine. Alright. YouTube's being very dodgy today, so I may not be able to provide you with the cat videos.
Oh, well, game number 3 is coming up. Snute versus Titan. It's going to be on Altazim Stronghold. I am excited for this. Dem Mutars are quite powerful.
They are. You know, I'm going to make a special effort for all of you guys. This is going to be something that I don't believe has ever been seen before in StarCraft 2 history.
What's that?
So I hope. Well, I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
I'm going to spoil it. I'm going to make a little change to the overlay for the first few minutes of this matchup right here. Yeah, that should be perfect. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Altazim Stronghold. It's my pleasure. In the northeast position. From Team Norway, currently ahead 2 games in this best of 7 series, it is Liquid Snute versus his opponent to the southeast position. In the red trunks, playing Protoss. For Team Russia, Roxkiss Titan. And I have added a cat to the overlay.
Oh. Oh. Well. Okay. John, let's do this. The map is Alterzim. Alterzim, Alter. A mix of Alterzim and Tal'Darim Alter.
You've just created the worst map in history.
Well, that does mean that now Titan is going to be going for Nexus first. Do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. I actually think that Snute could very well go for 3 hatch before pool.
He could. This would be a good, really, really good map to do that on, I feel. It's absolutely gigantic.
John, this is a big map.
It's pretty huge. But Snute is actually going pool first. For some reason. But, I mean, you know, there's not necessarily a case that you should be super greedy, but he is going to go for the pool before the hatchery in the back.
You know, this to me is a way of saying I think I have a better long-term game plan than you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm so confident in my ability to win late. All I need to do is not lose early. I'm going to get this queen up.
Sure.
And this could very well be a kind of swift 4th base, because if you look at this topmost 4th base, it's pretty well tucked back. You know, I mean, there are the rocks back there, but it's the sort of thing that with a couple of spine crawlers and Ling Muta, you are in amazing shape.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And I'm interested to see where this goes from here. Obviously, the Nexus first play from Titan. But God knows what could happen after that. It is a very, very large map. As we keep pointing out, because it's like the biggest, most important feature of the map is just its sheer size, which results in some very strange build orders.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most interesting things that we're seeing, of course, with the skipped forge from Titan, is that he can get pretty dang fast tech. And he can do it while having the gateways sort of bolster that. Because the forge really is... Oops. Zerglings march straight in and...
Well, that was convenient and shouldn't have happened.
Bird's eye view. Yeah, I mean, you get the benefit of not having to have spent 150 minerals and 150 minerals on each a forge and a cannon. So,
yeah,
it's 300 extra minerals, that's 2 extra gateways. I'm almost certain we're going to see Titan do some sort of... Actually, now I'm pretty sure that we're going to see Chrono Boost instantly on that Cybernetics core.
Okay.
Here it comes. Guaranteed. Wow. Here it comes, John. 100% chance.
Well, he does need 25 energy to do that. He's going in 23, 24. No. He's building a Stargate.
Building a Stargate. And what works great with Stargate is Chrono Boost on... Okay, never mind. He's going to just... He's going to keep getting probes. That's good. That's a smart, efficient play. Snute doing another thing I'm enjoying that I think is way stronger on this map. Often players will double gas at 6 for a Roach Warren. Here, Snute is going for very fast Zergling speed. Both a fast Roach Warren and fast Zergling speed are one of those, I'm going to try to stop a 4-gate with this play. Or I'm going to try to stop aggression with this play. But I like the Zergling speed choice because the map is so huge that there's a million and one places to hide the pylons.
Yeah, that is true. Shouldn't be too hard to pull any of that off. Stargate is now finished. It's a huge map. Why not get something that flies? Oracle is on the way, and that Oracle is actually going to get scouted, which is a really, really nice on-point scout from Snute, honestly. Very surprising that he landed just at that time, but he did. And the Oracle's going to get spotted immediately. Spore Crawlers go down in response.
Yeah, well, I mean, an Oracle is one of those investments that, like against Terran, I can see continued use for it, because you can do just amazing work with Revelation on Medivacs, but in this circumstance, it has a very temporary purpose. You can't really do good Revelations in the mid and late game because all the Zerg units are like faster than Oracles.
Yeah.
Like Mutalisks are going to be more mobile, the Hydralisks are going to be able to protect themselves pretty easily against that, so what Titan's doing is he's instantly going for this Nexus Expand. I firmly anticipate that we'll see a big, massive Void Ray, Zealot Archon sort of mixture.
Seems likely. Titan trying to find an opening. He does force the... There's a sort of very, very brief interlude there. A small coffee break for the drones as they're forced off the line momentarily, but it's not a problem. Looks like Titan's going to go send his Oracle over to check out LabBot 1X over there, which he elects not to destroy.
LabBot 1X. I love LabBot 1X.
He's a bit of a cutie,
Oh my
That's a
dude,
lot of links.
There's no Forge. The Forge was
What?
late. Ugh.
Well,
The Forge is only just finished, so there's no cannon, so
No
there
third base
goes
for
the
you.
game plan. Oh my god, Snute has a huge lead. I love that choice of Ling speed to hold off any potential aggression, because right now we're seeing it flip back around. The speed Lings countering the expansion. Oh, Titan is in just a world of trouble.
and you might think, well, he lost a little Lings doing that. It was totally worthwhile. He even killed a couple of sentries in the process, which is even better. That was fantastic there for Snute. That really did the job. And that puts Snute firmly on 3 bases. Really screws up the plans there. And as you said, late Forge, no defenses, and 1 dead Nexus.
Snute, on the other hand, does have some ways in which he's a little bit behind. His layer's only just now finished. He's going for the Hydralisk Den. That's a very active Oracle from Titan, continuing to spot, but I'm absolutely a big fan of getting the plus melee attack, going Hydra Ling, applying pressure, while doing that switch on over to the Spire.
Yeah, certainly. Seems to be doing the job here. Titan's trying to do some of this Oracle. It's not really working out. He used it more in defense, more so than anything else, which is never really where you want an Oracle to be used. It's finding queens all over the place. He does get 1 drone off the gas, but the other one is saved. The Oracle's now been damaged, so not really any luck there. So we're seeing a more standard kind of build out of Titan, focusing on Void Rays, Hydralisk and Hydra Speed already on the way here for Snute, and an Infestation Pit.
Ooh, now there's a funky choice. What Snute could be saying is, well, you're now pinned to defending your 3rd, so I'm going to go snap your face down with a Hydra Locust push. And that could be okay, but, I mean, mutas. That's what I'm really thinking is going to be the strongest choice. Mutas.
Well, he's putting a Roach Warren down at the moment.
Well, mutas.
Which don't come out of a Roach Warren. And Enduring Locusts as well. But no mutas. And a Hive. Which is an interesting choice, considering he hasn't actually even got 1-1 yet. I don't really know what to make of that build. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the Enduring Locust coming down for Zerg.
Hang on a minute.
Little push. Whoa, Mass Queen for Snute. Doing some great transfuses. It looks like kind of a difficult spot for Snute to hold. Does he actually have any? Oh,
That
his
force
queens
field.
get stuck on the wall.
Fantastic force field there from Titan. The Swarm Hosts pop out in the middle, and he even loses 1 before that even happens. He does have observers, though, so this actually is not going to work out so well for Snute. And suddenly, Snute gets caught off guard here with a push towards his 3rd as he's mid-getting every tech in the Zerg book. But now the Lings swarm out, and they will be able to defend.
So something weird happened there. Titan could have just hung out, continued to force field, but somehow he didn't do that. I don't know. This is just a series of very sort of funky decisions back and forth. I mean, Titan with a brilliant attack timing, with a great attack composition, killing off almost all those queens almost immediately.
Yeah, that was really nice use of the force field there. Particularly efficient as well. It's not too difficult to drop 4 force fields and trap a queen. It is difficult to drop 1 force field and trap 3 queens. Which is exactly what we saw there. It was a really nice move. Titan now looking for a run by here. Looks to be on the 4th base, which is a good choice, absolutely. The Lings do spot it, though, so Snute should be able to shut that down before any real damage is done.
Zerg's going to absolutely wreck this. Love this speed-focused defense from Snute, but the choice to start massing up Swarm Hosts early has cost Snute games in the past. We've seen really excellent answers from Protosses like MC, like Naniwa, who've been able to pick slowly Snute apart because it's so hard to defend these disparate bases. And as we see, the bases are increasingly getting more and more and more and more spread out.
That is
so
true.
It's tough dice right now for Snute.
It is a bit of a weird choice, I suppose, based on that kind of information. Admittedly, if he's going to do it, he kind of has to do it now before Titan really starts to sprawl all over the place. Look for a focal point, which is most likely going to be either the 3rd or 4th base. Start to pressure it. Spread your creep towards the Protoss so you have more options and you can expand behind that as well. But the response from Titan is to get speed. It's also to get grav boosters, actually, for the Warp Prism. So this is going to be some interesting drop stuff. I like that a lot, yeah. It's a good map for it.
Yeah, I mean, especially given that the ramp in your main is a 1 force field ramp.
Yeah.
A couple of Zerglings are on fire and dead in the south position. And now we're seeing the Titan is beginning to go up to the rather unusual, easy 4 bases. Only on Altar Zim do we get to say that. The struggle on this map for Protoss is acquiring the 5th base. And even that is going to be more comfortable when you have that much resources. But look at this. Titan is preparing to do a drop with that Warp Prism on the right side.
Titan's going to push out as well in the process, and he's going to look for those Swarm Hosts. Oh, he'll find them. He will absolutely find them. And he's moved onto the high ground to try and avoid that. However, Snute definitely pulls the Swarm Hosts back. He doesn't want any risk whatsoever of losing anything. And these Locusts are going to be able to kill some Zealots. Maybe even a Sentry. No, they don't get it. In the meantime, here comes the charging Zealot warp in into the main. They even catch some Swarm Hosts in the process, but unfortunately, the Transfuse is on point here for Snute, and the Zealots don't really get much done there.
Now, it looks like at the front, that's where Titan's real focus is. He's trying to crush through with his Colossus count. He wants to not let Zerg feel comfortable about getting a 5th base. So as he's going through here, he is going to be losing a lot of cash, but he can slowly replace his army with the really valuable stuff. Templar, Colossus, couple of Stalkers.
He almost loses 2 Colossi there. Time Warp comes down from Titan. Nice little micro maneuver just to avoid losing that. Big Zealot Warp in comes for a run by on the 4th base and a closer pylon coming in for reinforcements. And Titan is trying to push this back, but these Colossus are getting pulled right to the center of the Locusts. One pops. Second one pops.
Oh, another one got taken down on the right side, plunging down to 2 Colossi, but I mean, it's been said so many times, the best answer to Swarm Hosts is to go around them.
And he's going to have to. There's 33 Swarm Hosts. Even with 4 Colossus, that's not enough. You're going to need huge amounts to even think about beating that many Locusts. There's currently 90 Locusts on the field. The damage they do is obscene. Plus 3 upgrades coming for both. Here comes a Zealot run by and an Archon being warped in on the 4th base. And this, this is the right thing to do here. There's actually not that much mobile for Snute at all right now. He's maxed out on Swarm Hosts and Vipers alone. He has no Lings at all.
Well, now Snute has just put himself in the weirdest position. He not only has to expand under duress with these sort of counter warp-ins, but he also can't attack and defend his expansions at the same time. Well, he can do it well, at least. So the instant we get a very strong runaround from Titan, that's the instant that we start to see a lot of trouble for Snute.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, 2 storms can immediately blanket all the Locusts, and suddenly those Swarm Hosts are vulnerable targets.
Yeah, we need to see some spines added in here. It's got a lot of spores, but, and which is what you really want because you need to defend against Void Rays and things like Oracles, but he doesn't really have any spines. He doesn't have that many on at home either. Yeah. He's actually got no static defense, which would be nice to stop these run-bys from doing damage. But Snute, I think, just wants to end the game at this point. He doesn't want to worry too much about this. He knows, look, I have 33 Swarm Hosts. Killing that is going to be very difficult for you. I think I can break you now.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, yes, there's a lot of pressure happening at the front, but look at this. We're seeing Zealots run into the 3rd base. We're seeing more Zealots at the left run into the north base. Snute is in a lot of trouble. Even this expansion down in the bottom left from Titan, this is not a hidden expansion. This is exactly the right move from Titan. he can defend this so easily with Warpins.
Uh-oh. Storm comes down. Snute is now being pushed back. This Gambit from Snute has lost him a lot in the back. He has lost a lot of bases, and the Swarm hosts are also getting stormed, as are the Locusts at this point. Good transfusers coming in here. There are still a lot of Swarm hosts, and the Templars getting abducted by the Vipers as well, which is wonderful. A feedback comes in mid-air. Very nice move there. But
Cool.
I don't know whether or not Snute can break this, and if he can't, the economic damage might be crippling.
Well, we see 3-3 is done for Snute. He continues to step forward. The slow, steady push. Templar count at 7. Colossus count at 7. Storms and Thermal Lance are going to be enough to rip down this. In the Army value tab and the units lost tab, we see it's almost all Protoss units that have been lost. But that's not telling the full story. Titan soon is going to have 10 geysers. He's going to be able to continue to add on Templar and counterattack with Zealots.
So far, this has been good defense here from Titan. And he's pushing forward. He's going for another wave. Great feedbacks! Fantastic feedbacks from Titan!
Uh-oh, Mothership Core. Ooh, very nice time warp there. The Colossus are even going to love that, to be able to throw down yet more great shots down.
Yeah, really nice. Now, Snute did send, he's using a couple of Swarm hosts back at home, maybe a few too many to defend against these Zealot Warpins, but he knows he has to secure his economy, and he continues to push forward here. So far, Titan has not managed to break this, but he's not losing any of his valuable units outside of the occasional Templar either. So it's not that bad for him. He has enough Colossus to kill the whole Locust Swarm before it actually does any damage. But he is getting very slowly pushed back every time he does that.
We're seeing the expansion of the bottom left functionally getting completely repaired. And now we're starting to see Titan have literally a Colossus Templar army.
Yeah.
Those are the only units other than 5 Zealots that aren't even anywhere in sight. There's the Storms going down, and I actually think Titan is going to be able to break through this. No problem whatsoever with the armor upgrade. Hitting 2 now. Snute's Locusts actually are doing a lot less damage.
Oh, wow.
Titan is really pushing back. Snute hard. There's the Zealot Warping at the north side as well. I mean, Titan gets how to counter this, but still, 32 Swarm hosts on the field.
Yeah, huge amounts of them. He was forced to uproot and back off, which gave space. This is a war entirely for land right now, because the less land that Titan has, the more risk he is of losing the ability to retreat and also losing buildings, like his Nexus or pylons, warp gates, anything that you find there at the third base. So the more space he's got, the less effective this Swarm host composition is.
Wow, this is amazing. At the right side, we see that Snute hasn't spotted the warp prism there. Snute is kind of going to be on permanent 2 base. The instant he mines out his main and his natural, which is now, he has his 3rd almost mined out, and that 4th and that right side expansion. Oh, the right side expansion is definitely going to fall now.
Oh my, yes it is. A nice little warp in there. The pressure's coming in. The Archons are in the middle. The Swarm hosts are actually split in 2, which might be good considering, but there are a lot of Archons here. Titan is in the middle with Colossus, and suddenly, Snute's massive defensive line, it's falling. He's put a hole right through the middle.
Uh-oh, but the count is still at 31. There's been almost no Swarm host reduction. We're seeing that Locust start to pick off the Archons. Oh god,
ugly.
all the energy that
There's no
was
Templar.
spent.
He used all of that energy, as you said, on the Storms, and now it's just Colossus and Archons. Archons do not fight well against Swarm host at all, but Titan does still have 9 Colossi. Will it be enough to break this?
I mean, he's got to break it now, because as we're starting to see 12 more Corruptors are beginning to pop out. We haven't really seen any Corruptors in this game. It's just been Viking Swarm hosts, but with these continued Zealot counterattacks from Titan, I mean, they're not really doing anything at this point, but if those counters got any more notable in size, then yeah, I mean, we'd begin to see Titan chipping away. I mean, in terms of economy, we almost never see. Look at this. The Zerg income is just 400.
Yeah.
That's
barely
it.
any.
It's tiny.
He doesn't have, I mean, he really doesn't have any more than 1 mining base. This one here is pretty much done in the next 30 seconds. He has this one, that's it. He hasn't cleared out the pylons because he has no mobile force whatsoever. He is 100% committed to this front line, and he has left everything else open because he believes this is enough to kill Titan. And, oh, you get nice catch up there, actually. Snute was able to flank around the side in an unexpected way with those Locusts and kill a Colossus. if he can break this Colossus Force, Snute can win. Because there's no way that this high-tech army can be rebuilt fast enough to defend against the next wave.
Yeah. And the Corruptor's getting in position. There's only an Archon there.
Yep. And now Archon's
and
lost his shields. Oh, lovely abducts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Storm goes down to defend against the Locusts. The Corruptors are smashing their way through the Colossus count. Now only 7. This Corruptor switch might have been what he needed.
But suddenly, Titan has stopped messing around at the top side.
Jeez.
He has
20
zealots.
They need to attack now. There are some spines up, but against 3/3 zealots with +3 shields, I don't think those spines will be enough.
I mean, these are 3/3 zealots
Yeah.
at this point in time, and now Snute has started to try to build evolution chambers, more spine crawlers. I mean, they're going to be able to just annihilate the locusts. I mean, the locusts themselves aren't invisible, just the swarm hosts, and suddenly now, I mean, after 2 incredibly long games, I mean, Snute is yet again looking like he's on the ropes.
However, he has managed to reach the 3rd. He's killing Archons again. He's pressuring that Nexus. The Colossus count has taken damage. That mining base is now gone. The Zealots will eventually die to the Locusts. They'll take a while to do it, but I have to wonder, can Snute actually crush this mining base down to the bottom here? The Locusts can't quite reach it.
I mean, with the Archon count starting to be favored, we see 6 Archons, 11 Colossus, enough Templar to eliminate. Oh no! Oh my God, the admin
Are
dropping
you
at the worst
kidding
time.
me? This is not the time for that. Not at all. Take his.
Take TV.
His machine has
poor
melted.
Take.
Oh, well, Take is here, but he lost. I don't know if the admin was the spectator. Hopefully
Either
it
way.
wasn't.
Hysteria, showcasing.
He lost the co-caster. Okay, okay. PCs are melting in these long games.
Are you getting the unburrow noise constantly?
Yes. It's not that great. It sounds really disgusting. It's like a waterfall of sludge. Just take it in. 1, and here we go.
Oh man, I'm so glad that noise is finally gone. Storm's going down on all the locusts. You know, you never really hear this phrase said, but man, the micro on Snute's swarm host is incredible.
It's pretty good. Oh, Titan warping from the east right here. He finds a base.
Oh my God, and he has 13 warp gates, so he can easily flood wherever he needs to. I mean, warp prisms, easily going to be able to pick off all the rightmost expansions. Pylon at the top and leftmost. And we see these expos in the bottom left. I mean, Snute has not even begun to scout down to bottom left.
This is going badly right now for Norway at this point. Nice abduct, of course. Killing off Colossus is great, but he's got to do way more of that. And there's a lot of feedbacks coming in as well. Another Colossus falls. But Snute is losing his economy.
Yeah, and I mean, it can never be discounted the damage that extra that energy suck does. The what the heck is it called?
The consume, I believe is the name.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
energy gobble.
Yeah, he's
so
popping all of his spore crawlers to do it, so he's having to spend drones to build new ones.
You know, will spend all his transfuse to regain the energy. It's just this sort of odd cycling that is starting to become a little more costly. But man, I mean, there's swarm hosts back home. There's more swarm hosts coming in. I mean, Snute has to suspect something at the left side.
I think there is actually an opportunity, if we look at army supply, for things to go badly for the Protoss player. And more Archons being taken out here, because the Protoss army is actually quite small and high value. Only 105 army supply versus 172. Because, well, Titan's still mining, Snute isn't. If again, if he can crush this high-tech army, this is what he's hoping for. If he can crush that high-tech army, then he can win. But only if he manages that. And Titan's defense has been... The fact that he's managed to hold on for this long is insane. But he just lost a bunch, again, of high-value units.
Yeah, I mean, he's losing Archons all over the place, and there's Broodlords being morphed by Snute. Whoa,
that's a cool transition.
There's a bold play, yeah.
It's nice, because Titan's not ready for this. He doesn't have a fleet beacon. He's been building nothing but ground units. If Broodlords come into play, there is nothing that he really has that can handle that.
I mean, Snute is keeping his efficiency through the roof. I mean, it's one of these weird things where you start going for a super efficient army, and then your weakness is mobility.
Yeah.
And you can begin to try to spread it more thinly, have a smaller force at the front, and maybe add in roaches, add in lings. But what Snute's saying is, no, I need to be even more efficient, I need to be even more slow, and a perfect transition coming out for Protoss. I mean, normally going Tempest and or Carriers is weak in this position, but there's just not enough expansions for Snute to handle a huge air switch.
That's true. However, I don't know if Titan's gonna get the chance to do that. Snute, I think, realizes this is the time to strike. The fleet beacon is not done. Stargate production not available. And now he's pushing forward with both Vipers, Swarm Hosts, and Broodlords. That surely is enough to out... I mean, he is fighting against 13 Colossus and Archons here. Can Titan really break this?
Oh gosh, I mean, the Colossus count, 13. I mean, that's just insane. And this little valley that all the Broodlords are parked over, that's such a beautiful move out of Snute. He is playing so patiently, and all of a sudden, this 13 Colossus army is cornered.
It is, and it's taking a lot of damage. Well, I'd say it's taking a lot of damage, but actually those Broodlords are so badly upgraded that the Colossus are barely taking any damage from them, but they are being driven back. The third base is now completely exposed, just as it completely mines out, so never mind. And Snute is now pushing his way towards the fourth.
I mean, if Snute even just sent some lings over to the left place early and locked that down, this would be a final winning blow, but StarCraft is a game about economy. You have to not focus on the battles and crushing those. You have to both kill expansions and keep an eye on expansions. And look at this. Titan's just saying it's yours. Take it.
Yeah, he needs to buy time for his Tempests. It's as simple as that. If he doesn't get them, he's going to be in a world of trouble. There are 9 Corruptors, which is kind of enough to fight that. Oh, wow. Titan's actually given Snute the slip. He's moved his entire army around the Swarm Hosts, and I think he's actually going to go for a base trade.
I mean, I think in this position, it's a very wise move. If he can go for a base trade, his opponent's Corruptor count is at only 9. If he can get that count very low, I mean, and with no money in Snute's bank, I mean, what can Snute do?
Not much. You know, once the Corruptors go down, there'll be nothing to stop the Tempest from popping every single Broodlord and then slowly working their way through the Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts for a base trade army when the Swarm Hosts are on the wrong side of the biggest map in the map pool. That is not a good unit to have in this scenario.
Well, we're starting to see those Tempests head north, and I mean, this is a huge moment right now for Titan. He must kill off this base. He has to kill it off. On other maps, there's not the maneuverability to perform insane plays like what we're seeing Titan do, but on this map, it is huge enough. And now Titan's biggest question is, how does he defend his critical bottom left mining bases?
That is true. The 4th base was killed. That's the only mining base here for Snute. Snute pulled back a good portion of his Swarm Hosts and has been able to engage here, but the Colossus count is that ridiculous that it doesn't really matter. The 5 Tempests are now on the map here. Titan is actually supply blocked and will most likely remain that way. This entire base is going to be sacrificed.
Oh god. The most important part of the army, the Tempests. They're out of position. They're out of position. Oh my god. Oh my god. If Snute can pick those off.
Oh, he needs to go for them right now. He's actually managed to find it. He's got to go for them. All right, he finds an abduct. He takes down 1 Tempest. He's looking for the second one here. The Colossus are here, but what are they going to do?
Keep in mind, Snute has a lot of queens. So that means he can easily transfuse, keep it alive. And now we're seeing this Broodlord force down at the bottom side, a little vulnerable, a little bit exposed. Oh my god, is Snute actually going to win this?
It's looking like he might at this point. He has done massive production damage to Titan. He is killing key tech structures. He is limiting the options. Void Rays are coming out, which I like. I mean, if he had a larger Void Ray force earlier, then this would have been amazing. He would have been able to kill the Corruptors off, and then the Broodlords, and they're also pretty good for killing everything else. But right now, I think that it could be too little too late. It depends. Can Titan continue to do damage? Can he continue to kill off bases?
Well, I think this is a smart move for Snute. He's decided, oh my god, I really gotta stop messing around. I have to pull my Broodlords to where they can be protected, and that Tempest Void Ray army just missed an opportunity to eliminate 7 Broodlords. Yeah. Another queen being produced, the most efficient army possible. Oh!
2 more Tempests are about to go down. Yeah, they're gonna die. There's no way. I mean, there's nothing that can even protect them on the ground anyway. So that's quite a few Tempests lost already. Total 3 killed. They're pursuing the rest, but Corruptors are a little bit slow, so he can't catch up at this point, and with Void Rays on the way, it can be a bit risky to leave a small count of Corruptors out and exposed like that. There is creep all over the map. It is actually in the main of Titan here. It has naturally got all the way over there. This entire side of the map is completely covered in creep, and that leaves the Protoss having now expanded to the other side, to the southwest, and now Snute will try again to put the pressure on.
Oh, more Tempest gets snapped up. I mean, these are very, very big wins right now for Snute. Snute does need to, hurry up and get gas at that expansion so he can begin to increase his Corruptor count from 10 to something that's actually terrifying. But he's been very, very efficient. The Swarm hosts have provided him more than enough comfort. 22,000 resources lost for Zerg, 53.2 thousand lost for Protoss.
Oh me, oh my. It's a ridiculous game. Absolutely ridiculous.
I can't believe he's not getting gas, though.
I think he needs to. He's thinking right now, he needs minerals. He doesn't. He's sitting on a 2,000 bank and he's got no gas. He needs to think about that. But admittedly, he doesn't need gas if he isn't going to lose any units, so I guess that's his plan here.
Yeah. I mean, literally never lose units. What's the big deal?
Well, I mean, if you do have 34 swarm hosts and like 100 locusts on the field at any given time, it is possible.
I mean, the funny thing is that Titan's actually starting to mine out the bottom left expansion that Snute never engaged ever, so...
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I mean, what do you do here as Snute? It looks like he's just gonna continue this push. He just says, you can't beat this. I need to add the last key bit to the puzzle, which are, Spore Crawlers. So off he goes to add those.
I think so.
Titan is taking the top left expansion. Great move. Zealots continuing to move out. Zerglings also in production.
Wow. Zerglings. Haven't seen those in the last 40 or so minutes.
I mean... I'd like to give a... I mean...
I don't even know. This is, this is like Highlander 2. We're very slowly regressing in technology. We've got the highest tech units available, and then we have stuff like Void Rays, and then eventually we get Lings again. Suddenly the telephone won't even be a technology that can be used in this universe.
Jesus. I'm like, that's actually pretty accurate. That's like, okay, wait a minute. Is it going to be an engagement? We're seeing the next round. Oh,
he's going in. He got in just before the Locust Swarm came out and then stormed the entire thing. Very nice.
Oh my god, there are 6 Void Rays. The Queens are
Storm drop coming in right here from Titan. He's getting some hits in. There's a lot of Void Rays here, though. Will Snute actually lose this battle? Blinding Cloud comes down. This is ridiculously close.
Well, it's all up to Air Force versus Air Force, and this is where Snute needed those geysers. He's just now realized, oh my god, why did I not get those up earlier? And suddenly Snute, no frickin' way. Snute's actually pushing this back. Well,
he has.
Now we have 4 Tempests.
Tempest has got a gun.
Transfuse.
Nice. Very nice. And Tempest don't do much damage to Corruptors whatsoever. They gun down Broodlords very well, but the amount of losses Titan took in that engagement was astronomical. Huge numbers of Colossi went down. Huge numbers of Tempests were killed. Yet another warp in here for Titan. He's certainly got, he's got the money, but it comes down to time, really. He's going pure Void Ray.
Pure Void Ray is a great choice because this is a 1v1v1v1v1 infinite money map, and only Void Rays win those games.
That's very true. Hashtag bronze logic. Once again, I don't think I've ever seen a Twilight Council covered in creep, but if you want to see it, it's on the screen right now. Like, this whole base is covered in creep. However, there are working production facilities down in the old natural.
I think one of the biggest keys is going to be the Spore Crawler count. There's 15 on the map right now, but they are very widely spread out, and I think it's absolutely critical that those begin to join together. The Void Ray count is at... It's at 8, and I mean, it's gonna go up more, TB.
Solid prediction there, Sean. Earning your pay, very much so.
Well,
How many more Void Rays will we see? Well, he's gonna go up to 13.
Okay.
Ooh, he's gonna himself some freebies here, actually. Those, actually, no, maybe, no, the Corruptors, no, they can't fight this, no way. I keep forgetting, those are Void Rays, those are new Void Rays, not Wings of Liberty Void Rays. There's no way the Corruptors can fight that. +1 air upgrade is coming in. I'm actually now really worried for Snute. I think this Void Ray switch is gonna catch him completely off guard.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Infestors. We're gonna see an almost immediate unburrow and retreat. Where are the Corruptors at? I mean, 4 Corruptors, yuck.
What I will say is there are no observers, so killing off these swarm hosts could be difficult.
Yeah. Consistently been the issue. Snute has somehow decided that it's a good time to go in there. His answer is Queens. His Corruptor count is still very low. He's keeping the Queens at the front line, but there's no Locust. He's got to be so careful. The transfuses have to be amazing, and no way are you kidding me.
How did you do that?
Snute! Snute!
What?
Snute!
That was ridiculous. No way that many Void Rays should have lost there, but they did. The Queen support did the job. The transfuses were excellent, and Snute gets another spawn of Locusts. In the meantime, another Zealot run by, trying to kill his base. This base will never go up ever again. It's 48 minutes of the game, and this potential 3rd here, or even 4th, still has most of its minerals left, and a lot of its gas as well.
Huh.
Titan's still on 4 mining bases right now. Zealots coming in from the main. I wasn't even aware there was anything alive in the main to send Zealots. Apparently there is. Big wave comes in. Titan again falls below 200 supply.
I mean, it looks like these Zealots are going to strike that northern base at just the right time. I should say the eastern base. Snute has been doing this all on almost nothing.
Yeah.
71,000 to 27,000 resources lost. I mean, this is going to be very close, this Zealot run by. Oh god, Snoot's got to be super cautious with that rallying that he's doing at that eastern base. And there it is! Oh, just as the Locusts leave.
They're going in that general direction. Here it comes. That's the nice little run by there. It's going to do the damage. Absolutely, it will gut the mineral line. The Locust finally spawned, but he's focusing it down the hatchery. It is... No! Oh, the last swing!
Literal last, like his left hand struck it, and he's not even left-handed. And it fell. Oh my god. 15 queens on the map. 15 queens, 8 corruptors, and an endless volley of locusts. Is that enough to beat Titan? I mean, Snute seems to think so. This is possibly the worst map to go for swarm hosts on because of their immobility, because the amount of space that is on this map, but nothing matters. This doesn't matter.
Snute has got to get aggressive. Wow, speed observers need him to try and get past those air defenses, but Snute has got to kill Titan. He has no... Well, I would say he has no money, but he's actually re-established that 4th base yet again here. And he's also found other bases from Titan. He knows where they are at this point. And he's forcing his way in and destroying units and destroying tech. But these swarm hosts are killing stuff too slowly, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, there's the huge push going up, and the swarm, the creep spread has been really instrumental for Snute to be able to spot everything. I think it's time for Snute to simply abandon the northernmost expansion, like, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, there's a huge army coming towards it. I don't think holding that is necessarily going to be an option. Titan, for the first time in about 25 minutes, has a supply lead here. Snute is not able to reinforce. Titan's building a carrier.
I mean,
He's building a carrier.
I mean, carriers are, I think, probably one of the better choices. They're amazing against corruptors. They're even more amazing against queens. I think it should have been the choice for carriers a long time ago. Tempest is what you would think is an intuitive choice because you're looking for range, but...
They just don't do the damage on anything that's not a massive air unit.
Yeah. So we're going to see possibly a secondary engagement. This is going to all be up to the transfuses from Snute. Where is Queens? Where is Queens? They're finally getting together.
Storm comes down yet again on the Locust. Time Warp as well to keep them in place, so the Locust wave is gone. It's another few seconds before the next wave of Locust. 8 seconds before that next wave of Locust comes in. There's a pull on a couple of the Void Rays. The Queens bring down one in a second. However, the Protoss army is right on top of the Swarm hosts right now. Storm's coming underneath this as well. The Locusts pushing through. The ground army is gone, but there's 15 Void Rays. How good are Snute's transfusers? How good are they? Apparently they're excellent. Snute is holding the line against 15 Void Rays. Ridiculous. He kills the Void Rays.
He has the supply lead.
What?
He has the lead in supply. John Bain. He's got the lead in supply. All right.
The game will continue as Snute's transfuse micro. Oh, 2 more Void Rays pulled in. Really nice maneuvers coming in right there. And suddenly, where's the defense for Titan? He has 5 Void Rays, 10 Zealots, and 4 Tempest.
I don't believe it. This is... I can't believe that this is a game right now. I mean, the bottom left. Titan is going to have mined out 3 sets of bases. Bottom right, bottom left, and soon enough, top left. I mean, another expansion falls. Kind of. No, I guess not.
No.
The drone count is at 27. It's been at 14 for most of the game. Another... Snute, I guess, is going to win.
I think he's got it. He has secured 3 bases. Yeah. Now that he has complete control of the right side of the map, he's taken this base towards the center, which normally you'd never take that in a million years, but he's taken it. He's mining from it with 31 drones, but he is mining it. He's getting gas. He's now pushing on these critical tech and production structures. They're going to die as well. What I'd love to see actually from Snute is an effort to kill this production in the main, which he never killed. And he really could have... Yeah, I mean, that's tech structures. That's stuff you could valuably kill and force your opponent to waste gas on.
I mean, I guess by empirical data, Snute's probably got this one, I guess. I mean, I would theorize a Dark Shrine coming out. That was the problem that Titan had. He didn't have a Dark Shrine.
Yeah, I mean, there's only about 50,000 Spore Crawlers on this map, so there's loads of possibilities for a Dark Shrine to work.
Well, it looks like Expo after Expo is going to start to fall for Snute. I think he might just gently reposition a lot of these key units. I mean, what on in the earth?
It's hard to say.
I mean, this really is a remarkably skillfully played game from Snute. This is not merely sit passive, watch. I mean...
No, because you can't do that on Altazim. At all. Yeah. That doesn't work.
Countless times pulling back at the last second, getting in just the right spot at just the right time. I mean, burling, unburling, keeping his swarm host mobile. Simply letting Titan take the bottom side of the map knowingly, so that way he can slowly rebuild a force of queens. I mean, this is just uncanny. 17 queens on the map, 21 swarm hosts. Snute, hilariously enough, is expanding to the top left.
Directly below the Protoss base.
Oh,
another
my
engagement.
gosh.
Void Rays coming in. Ooh, gotta be careful. Gonna lose a swarm host or 2 here. No, he isn't. Great transfusers coming in. And I think he's baiting. Oh, one of the Vipers pops. Those are full Vipers. He's got to be extremely careful. Feedback is able to take that out, and Overseer falls as well. Snute actually is below Titan's supply again. Loads of feedbacks coming in here. Will the Queens be able to do the job now? The swarm host. Most of them weren't burrowed here. Pulls coming in, but the Queens are there. Do they have the energy to survive this?
There's not that much transfuse juice. I mean, like, all those Queens are very, very low energy, but nothing I say matters. Down go all the Void Rays. It's enough transfuse. The Queen count, being produced 3 at a time, still remains high at 14. There's Queens in the high, or in the main, and at the expansion that have yet to be transferred. The last mining expansion falls again for, Snute, I guess. Titan has built only Templar in the North Base.
Congratulations, 40,000 viewers get to witness an hour on Altazim Stronghold and still going strong here.
I know, I mean...
This has been insane up to this point.
I mean, I will say, it's... In certain ways, it's painful.
Yes.
But in other ways, this is just a magnificent, slow, steady play from Snute.
All the cannons deployed. The attack on Titan commences right here. Snute is deploying creep He's going to try and get it all the way up the ramp here. He has a base directly below for reinforcements. Happy has a pretty good point. Titan is about to pass 100,000 resources lost. There it is.
All right. Carry reeling it all in. We have the Brood Lords heading into the top. I mean, you gotta feel for Titan here.
You do. You absolutely do. You gotta feel incredibly frustrated. Admittedly, this is the one map where this should not have worked. As you pointed out many times. And Titan had the right idea, but he couldn't finish the job.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Snute's gonna win. Dude, Snute is so good. You know, for whatever you might say about the design of the game, tilting you because it could permit this to occur, I mean, I think that this was an exquisite display of skill from Snute to have been able to pull that off. I mean, he had to have executed those transfuses perfectly. Titan is tucked away in the corner. There's really nothing that he can do here.
Yeah. Titan was reliant on a big high-tech army, and every time he loses that, replenishing it is now impossible.
Oh my god, the Dark Shrine is gonna fall. Okay.
Oh no! Anything but that!
Wow. Dude, whoa.
Well, Void Rays are being built, but there's 19 Queens and 4 Void Rays. I do not see that working. Zealots come in. The Spore Crawler is transfused. The Zealots driven back.
Poor Zealots are like, God damn it!
What?
I just want to kill a Spore.
This isn't doing anything!
And he has like 8 queens transfusing 1 Spore Crawler. Nothing even in that interaction flies. It makes no sense. And yet there it is. Here comes the Value Tempest, ready to value.
They're protecting the, let's just say, natural expansion of the Protoss player right now that is the opposite side of the map from where his first natural was.
You know, Titan got married, had kids during this game, and he's explaining to them right now, I remember a long time ago I had 13 Colossus.
Titan isn't even playing this game. It's like Rogue Legacy. His next generation is carried on the play
Yeah.
long after he died to locusts.
Now, long ago, there was this thing I was using called micromanagement. This poor old man.
Oh, God.
You know, I think that what would be really cool is if the Swarm host, you could choose to spawn locusts or drones. What do you think?
I think being able to build 89 30-second drones on the map at a time would be a really interesting way of doing harassment on your enemy's potential expansions. You could mine them out before they even got to build a nexus there.
There it is. I mean, you could, you know, I'm going to mute the game because the tempests are really loud.
They actually are. Yeah, I unfortunately don't have the benefit of being able to do that. I mean, I could, honestly. I don't think you'd really miss anything.
Well, I used to have hundreds of gateways. All right, Grandpa. Okay. Look at that, 276 creep tumors.
What? I mean, that's just a silly amount of everything.
And in this game, that's a healthy number.
Yeah, that actually seems reasonable in our minds right now. Creep currently covers the entire map. There is creep everywhere. Absolutely everywhere.
Man.
Well, this has been a thing.
So, I mean, do you need to, like, get dinner?
I'm gonna have to try and push the res back, but first, what I want to do is replace the music of the game, because I'm quite frankly getting sick of it.
Oh, I think that's a really interesting choice.
Yeah. I'm gonna replace it with, some smooth jazz.
Ooh. You know, I'm increasingly a fan of jazz.
I've turned the sound off because, quite frankly, I've had enough of it, so
yeah,
I'll listen to the smooth jazz.
Ooh. It's kind of nice.
I think it's probably for the best at this point. Slowly, the Tempest arcs its graceful way across the path of a Spore Crawler, taking mild damage to its shields. But you know what? Captain don't care. He's relaxed. He's chilled out. Yeah.
Snute, resting easy. Viper's coming in. They're gonna do a little yoinkatron. But you know what? Titan says it's okay to die. Everybody dies. Titan is gonna target fire. It's Hatch versus Transfuse, and I'll give you 3 guesses as to who won.
Snute is not remotely worried.
Snute has had an income of less than a few hundred for the entire game. His income right now, no income.
And you know what? That's because
Yeah.
mo money, mo problems.
That's true.
Snute got no problems in the world right now.
Not a single worry, not a single fear. You will not see an expo here. I needn't mine, I needn't try. I'll just shoot down everything out of the sky. I have a queen. I have my friends. I have vipers that can abduct to no end. I'll pull a Tempest. I'll pull a Void Ray. I'll do whatever I want. Snute 3-0s for Norway.
That was impressive. Very impressive.
Thank you. I mean, I have a particular set of skills.
Do those skills make you a nightmare for people like me? I have to ask.
I mean, this is a good game, Jonathan Bain.
Yes. Absolutely. 154 supply to 68, and we get a little bit of swing on there. Yeah. That's what we like to hear.
Oh, the Broodlords have hit the expo on the left. In the units lost tab, it's a lot to a little.
115,000 resources to 43,000. You know what? Titan keeping it cool throughout of this. It's a cool cat. Yeah. Still mining.
This is where I really want his mother to walk in and say, Titan, you've been reckless with your money. You should learn to save.
Why can't you be more responsible with your savings account? And look at this. Unupgraded Broodlords versus +3 Nexus shields mean the Nexus never dies.
Now there's a counterattack at the base of no mining up in the north. Titan kills it off, he loses everything. It's 25 harvesters to 22, and none of these numbers matter. The numbers that do matter are 21 swarm hosts, 24 queens, and an extremely petulant Russian King Titan. You gotta feel for him. He's in this game. He's like, no, I am not leaving.
It's currently 44 supply to 155, and my god, this is a cool cut right here from the Snute Dog. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, Mr. Snoop Dogg. He's just gonna send a cool wave of free units out there. I don't need these units. Feel free to hang on to these.
He's a sharing, caring man. He really loves to give. Give and give and give again for 70 whole minutes.
Parliament in Norway is enacting a law right now. This will be forever known as Snute Day, where you spend the entire day watching this one game at normal speed, because that's how long it'll take. Kids don't even like it. I don't want to have the day off school to watch Snute Day.
Titan speaks. I don't think that will help him. I actually do want to know, where the hell are those swarm hosts?
Alright, look at this. 26, 24, 17, 18, 19.
Not as many as I would have thought. 20, 70. I wonder if any of the original swarm hosts. This is like the 4th generation of swarm hosts here. I can't find any that have, like, ridiculous numbers of kills, honestly. That's quite surprising.
Well, I mean, I will once again say that I am absolutely impressed that Snute managed to pull this win off. He was completely screwed. But he did win the game half an hour ago. So. Oh, man. You know...
Happy just leaves.
Now, the important thing for everyone to remember is that
thank God!
Snute, by the way, TRL DM stands for trolldom. Shit. Oh, man. Wow.
Well.
You know, let me give an analysis / recap of that game.
As you wish.
So, Titan did some really interesting moves that game. He opened Oracle a little over an hour ago. And he didn't defend his expansion, which, as we wound up seeing, put him behind economically.
All right, okay.
You know, then he transitioned to an interesting mix of Colossus Archon Templar, 8 base, 20 gas. At this point in time, Snute was just rebuilding his only mining base. And so I was a little concerned for Snute at that point in time because he had Queens and Swarm Hosts. But I mean, I really shouldn't worry. This is like a fear of flying. You know, there's been 6 million flights a year in the US alone.
Yep.
They don't crash.
Nope.
And when there's 6 million locusts in a game, none of them are going to crash, John.
No, they don't lose. Absolutely not.
Those were actually all smooth landings. So Snute went ahead and used Queen Swarm Hosts, and I think it was really clever the way that he was able to beat Colossus Templar Archon Void Ray Tempest, Carrier Zealot, Counterattack, Warp Prism, Expand Cannon. So I think that's a real lesson to a lot of the Zergs out there who are wondering, you know, if I can only afford 2 units, you know, let's say I have one of those keyboards that only has, you know, 3 or 4 buttons. You just need the Swarm Host button, the Queen button, 1 and A. No, actually, you don't need 1. You can just have A.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna go and take a piss. Because frankly, for the last hour, these players have been taking the piss. I think I'm entitled.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Snute just took an hour-long piss, if you know what I mean.
Oh, no.
Oh. All right, I do need to use the restroom. I'll be back.
So
John,
do I.
Do you want to meet me here?
That's a plan. Let's do that.
All right. I'll see you in a sec. Okay.
All right.